Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of our Bella Entrepreneur Zoomcast interviews. Thank you for joining us. My name is Rocio Flores, para servirles. I'm the founder of Bella. Bella stands for Brillantes Emprendedoras Latinas de Los Angeles, and I'm super excited to have Celina Estrada here with us today from Serious Bloom Life Coaching. Let's show Celina some love. All right, Celina, woo-hoo, in the house. We're really excited to have you here. Thank you so much for sharing this time with us.
Thank
So
you.
we want to get to know you. We want to know your journey as an entrepreneur. This platform really is to highlight and elevate Latina entrepreneurs like yourself. And so let's just dive right into the interview. I want you to kind of tell us a little bit about you to start off. Who is Celina? What is Serious Bloom? Just tell us a little bit, kind of high level summary of who you are and your business.
Okay, so I'm Celina, and I created the business Serious Bloom Life Coaching. And actually, it kind of happened, I would say, unexpectedly. I have over 21 years in city government. And so I truly felt like, okay, this is where, I'm going to spend my career and this is what I'm going to be doing. And a couple things happened in my life that really got me thinking, what is my purpose? And so I really started thinking, I think I would like to be a life coach, because I had some friends that were life coaches and I would see them speak and, do events. And I thought I could totally do that. And so, believe it or not, one day I was looking on the computer for life coaching courses. And just to get an idea, like of the cost and, what it was about. Well, the next day, my cousin had invited me to a women's workshop at her church. And so at that workshop, they talked about how they had a faith-based life coaching course. And I just immediately was like, oh my God, this is it. This is where I needed to be today. And I immediately signed up. And then I began once I started taking the courses, I started thinking like, okay, like this is something like I can totally do. And I really saw that my target would be youth. That's really where my heart went out. And I started thinking of business names. And so I'm like, well, really, what do I want to incorporate, and how do I want to really market myself as a business? And I really love cactus. And so I really also want people to bloom, to grow. And so I started looking like at different names. And actually, you can see I'm wearing a cactus earrings and necklace.
Oh, yeah.
And so Cereus is actually is basically like in the family of cactuses. And so I thought, well, Sirius sounds like serious. So serious, like I want you to get serious and bloom. And so I just put it together, and luckily it wasn't taken. So,
That's
and
important.
so I said, yeah. And so I said, I really want the cactus to be in my logo, because for me, it really represents a lot. It's the 3-tiered cactus. And I have it representing the past, the present, and the future. And it's so important for me to really, have people focus on this, especially when I'm doing coaching, and for them to see how strong and resilient the cactus is. It can survive in any type of climate. It's strong, it's resilient. And so that really represents, you know, who I am and who I want others to also embody when they have coaching from me, and to really think of the cactus as like a symbol, when they see it, and they'll remember how I made them feel and what I taught them. And so it's nice to see now people, when they see cactus plants or, like purses, now it's everywhere, they'll say, hey, I thought of you and I'm thinking of you. And so it's really nice.
That is so true, and I think the branding is really important. The same thing with me. I see cactus now. I think of Celina. Seriously, I see it, and I love that story. So powerful how you're tying your brand and your logo to the mission and purpose and meat of your business. That's really beautiful, really powerful. So wanted to kind of talk a little bit about how it was for you growing up. So let's take kind of a step back and walk us through that journey growing up in your childhood. Did you ever kind of think about one day business or entrepreneurship? Was that even in your family or friends, or even just as a child? How were you in terms of growing up in your journey, and maybe we can kind of see the connection of what led you to where you are.
Yeah, the funny thing is that as a kid, there was two jobs that I wanted to do. I wanted to either be a policewoman or a teacher. And I remember my mom saying, no, like, I don't want you to be a policewoman. It's dangerous. And so I thought, okay, maybe not. And the teacher, it was like a thought, but I never really acted on it.
Right.
And so it's funny to see now, like over the years, how, I mean, I did do a few years in law enforcement and enforcement. And so it's funny how I did fall into that. And then now, doing coaching, how I feel like I really am like a teacher and teaching. And so as a youth, I grew up with an alcoholic father and experienced, a lot of traumatic events at a very young age, and experienced anxiety and depression. And I didn't know that at the time. I just was dealing with what I was dealing with.
Right.
And so that's how I didn't know how to handle these emotions. And so being a kid, luckily I had a really good friend, and her name was Hawa, and she was my best friend. And she's from Afghanistan. And so I was exposed to a different culture at a very young age. And I really think that helped, put a different perspective on life, because here I was exposed to new foods, different TV shows, music, even, dialect. And so it just got me really curious and wanting to know more of what was out there in the world. So I really used that to focus, or like to not think about the problems that were going on at home. I really just put in my head, you know what? I want to travel the world and I want to see the world. And what am I going to have to do to get there? Or what do I need to do to achieve that? And so at a very young age, that's always what was on my mind, was that I want to see the world, and I need a good job, and I need a job that's going to give me vacation time. And so it's funny because working in city government, we're lucky enough to get, some pretty good vacation time. And so using that, it just really helped me like to react to things differently. It helped me grow. And so I really, want to thank my friend for exposing me to this at a very young age. And that's why I always tell people, don't underestimate exposing your children to different things, because you don't know what it might do to them. It might really trigger something wonderful. And so I just highly encourage always parents to expose their children to new things and experiences.
And I can see that your resiliency and your challenges that you might have had as a youth really helped shape and build your purpose and your work ethic and your business, and I'm sure in your personal life as well. And that translates into kind of the courage and the grit you need to have to really pursue in your business, because it's not an easy journey at times, right? I always tell folks it's like hills and valleys. It's like a journey that never kind of stays straight. It's never a straight road, right? And I think a lot of what you experience difficult at the time also build up that inner strength for you to be able to exude that in your business and use that to your benefit in terms of like executing your business and just thriving. And so I definitely see kind of some connection in your growth there. So I wanted to point that out. So you talked a little bit about this in the beginning, but if you could dive a little deeper into like what inspired you to start Serious Bloom, so kind of expand upon maybe what you already shared, and then how did you actually get started? So what were some of the steps that you took to actually say, I'm going to do this and I'm doing it?
Okay. So like I said, as a youth, I had suffered from anxiety and depression, didn't know that at the time. But as I grew into adulthood, life started happening, and things started getting hard. And there was a point in my life where we had 3 family members pass away one year. And one of them was my 17-year-old brother, who was killed by the California Highway Patrol. And my niece, she was 21, and she was hit by a car when she would cross the street. And we had to take her off life support. And my aunt was 40, and she died of breast cancer. And so that year, it just really, it shook my core. I just said, what am I doing with my life? How can I honor them? Because I'm still here, and they didn't have that opportunity to be here. So I need to live for them. And it really stuck with me. Like, I need to live for them. I need to honor them by doing something for others. And at that time, I wasn't doing anything for anyone. I was just living for myself. And I thought, I don't want to be like that. And so I said, my niece that was 21, at her funeral, they said some beautiful stuff. She worked at a retirement home, and the way she made them feel, it really stuck with me. And I said, what are people going to say at my funeral? How have I impacted people? And that really stuck with me. And so I really started exploring, what am I going to do with my life? And so I started volunteering. I started volunteering a lot with many nonprofits, and I loved it. It brought me so much joy. But it wasn't enough. So I was like, I need something else, And so I actually ended up taking a grant writing course, because I thought, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help nonprofits get funding. And so I took the course, did like an internship, and I really liked it, but there was still something, And so that's when I started looking into the life coaching, and really found my purpose in life. And it was just an amazing feeling. And when I really decided that this is what I wanted to do, and I wanted to cater my business towards youth, because I really want to be that person that I needed when I was younger. And so I said, this is my market, is going to be youth, and this is who I want to target. And so I actually started looking on social media, just for like free resources, huge on free. I love finding free things to do, or low cost services, because there's so much out there. But if we don't look, we don't know. And so I ended up finding the nonprofit PACE, which is in LA, and they had a like intro to business class. I think it was like $50, and it was a few weeks long. And so I took it, and that's where they helped me set up my my DBA, and my sole proprietorship, and my tax ID, my EI, everything. They helped me with everything. And that's really like what I needed, because I had no clue what I was getting into, what I needed to do. And they really held my hand and walked me through the whole process. And I'm so thankful for them. And really just started looking on Eventbrite as well at free workshops, so I can see like how people interact at workshops, what works, what doesn't work, what's something I can incorporate. So I was kind of like doing research at this point.
Yeah.
And then I really said, I need to start building my portfolio. And so I started volunteering, doing, volunteer speaking events, and going in and doing free workshops, so I can start building a name for myself. And really, figuring out who's my target market. And so my target, is schools, nonprofits, government agencies. So I went to, the libraries, to after school programs, to nonprofits, and basically said, I'm a youth life coach. These are the topics that I can, talk about. I can also create a curriculum for you if you have a certain topic that you want me to discuss, and cater it towards your needs. And so pretty much everyone I targeted said, yes, come in, like, oh, wow, this is great. And so I started getting really good feedback. And I also started getting surveys from the youth to really see, like, is this something that they'll be interested in?
Right.
Like, am I making an impact here? And when I got those first set of surveys back from the kids, it was the best feeling, because I'm like, I am doing what I wanted to do, and it's working. And I got really emotional. And so and I thank God, because around the time when this all happened, I also, my faith grew. I went back to the church. I'd been away from the church for a while. And so everything just started happening like in alignment.
Mhm.
And, I just said, this is, thank you, God, and keep directing me to where you need me, because, I want to honor you. And so ever since then, like, the journey has been amazing.
I love that. That's so powerful. And I think you spoke to one of the questions I had was around your purpose and mission, but I really feel like you've shared a lot of that just throughout the conversation that we've had and what you've shared already. I can see it. It like shines out of you. You're really living your mission and your purpose through your business. And I think that's really kind of like half the battle, if you will, right? Like I think when times get tough, we need to revisit that why and revisit that purpose and that mission. And I could see that just you so sharing that willingly, and it's really beautiful to hear what that is for you. And so, having said that, that we, as business owners, entrepreneurs, as women, in this space, as owners of your business, there's challenges, right, that come through. And so sharing, if you could share maybe a challenge or two that you've had that you feel comfortable sharing, and or maybe you're currently having in your business, and what kind of that was like, the struggle or the challenge, and kind of how you work through that.
hmm so I would say one of the first struggles, which is funny, it kind of makes me laugh, because was my husband. I've been married 10 years. And, here I am, with my full-time job. And now I'm going, you know what? I want to do life coaching. I want to start a business. And no one in my family had a business. So it's like, you know, where is this coming from? And so really getting his support, in the beginning was tough,
Mm,
because he didn't see the vision, and he just figured this is going to be, something that's going to take you away from me. And
mm,
it's going to create, more time for you to have to invest away from the home. And it was something that he didn't understand, because this wasn't his vision. And that's
mm,
what I had to make him understand, was that, what, this is something that brings me joy, and it's something that, I can't imagine not doing. And, my husband loves to run, and he was part of like a running team at work. And I said, it's kind of like if I told you, I don't want you to go running anymore. It would make you upset, right? It would be sad.
mm,
And so I think by putting it that way, then he realized, okay, this is something that, she really is passionate about. And then, I don't know if it's also, like, because, growing up in the Latino household, that, it's like, I want, um, like my wife to be here, and, not to be out. And so that's where I was like, hey, like, it's 2021, hello.
yeah.
And so then when he started seeing, like, the feedback that I was getting, and how happy I'd come home and just share everything, then he started getting excited.
Mhm.
And so I'm still trying to get him to join as a life coach. And then join my team.
One day. Yeah,
But
that's really interesting. I think that that happens a lot more often than I think we talk about sometimes, right? Is sometimes our challenges start with our families, and I think that the persistence and the continuous just sharing and conviviendo, and here's the outcomes, this is the results, but this is also, to your point, this is what brings me purpose and joy. I think over time, I think family members sometimes learn to understand a little better, and they become more supportive. So it's really great that your husband is in a place now that fully supports you, and maybe one day we'll want to do some coaching alongside you as well.
Yeah. And I mean, because he has, we all have a story.
Mhm.
It's just, like, I guess it'll come at our own time. And when, we can really discover when we're going to use that to help others. And so, yeah, I'll let you know.
Keep us posted. Definitely. No, thank you for sharing that. And so, what advice or tips would you give to other Latina rising entrepreneurs that maybe are thinking about starting a business, or maybe they're in their beginning stages of starting a business? And what kind of words of wisdom or encouragement or anything that you could share to those that are listening that are in that place right now?
So, first of all, I would say if you can't stop thinking about it, then you have something.
Mhm.
I think that's the first step. If you keep thinking about an idea and how you would grow and how, and you just talk about it and it excites you. And when you even think about it, your heart starts beating, then you have something there to go with, and really think about, okay, how is it going to really enrich my life? Because if it's not going to add happiness, to your life, then why are you doing this?
Mm.
And I truly believe it shouldn't be about money, because when your heart and soul is really into it, the money will come. But you really have to be, invested in what you're doing and really show passion for what you're doing. And just start looking into different resources. There is so much out there, like I said. And I actually, you can follow me on my Instagram page, because I love posting resources, free workshops, anything that I feel like could help people grow, I'm posting it. And so, just look, ask, it doesn't hurt to ask people. I mean, I personally did ask a few people on like, how did you get this contract? Or how can I do this? And some people never responded, and I didn't get the answers I always wanted, but I still kept trying. And eventually, I found someone that could direct me, or someone that was saying, I'll be open and I'll tell you. So don't, get discouraged, because there's a lot of people that won't want to share their resources,
Mhm.
or perhaps, don't really want to see you grow because they see you as a competition. But I always love to say, even though maybe we're all doing the same thing, or, maybe the market is saturated, but let's just say if I said, hey, Rocio, can you bring a chicken soup to the potluck I'm having? And then I make a chicken soup and have everyone bring chicken soup. I bet you everyone's chicken soup is going to taste different, because everyone's going to add their own ingredient to it. You're going to add your own spices. And so I think that's the same way when it comes to business. We all add our unique touch to it.
Yeah.
And so even though we might be doing the same thing, it's different, because we're adding our story, our background, our love to it. And so don't give up, like keep going for it.
I love that. And I love the analogy of the chicken soup. I think that when we relate it to an analogy or a story, sometimes it's illustrated a lot more clearly for us. So I think that was a really great example you gave.
Yeah, because someone might bring pozole, a green one, a red one,
All flavors. So, as we close our time on this wonderful interview together, is there anything that you just want to share, any kind of final words with the audience that are listening, or anything that maybe we didn't cover that you just wanted to bring up with folks before we close the interview?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that Serious Bloom Life Coaching, we cater towards youth with an emphasis on mental health, mindset, and life skills. So if this is something that you would love your youth from junior high to entry level college, to get this knowledge, perhaps in their school and their after school program, or if you're a nonprofit and you're looking for programming or someone to come and introduce new programs to your facility, please reach out to me so I can see how I can help you, how we can work together. And you can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook, or you can go to my website at www.seriousbloom.com. And you can email me as well at coach@seriousbloom.com.
That's awesome, Celina. Thank you. We're going to share all your contact information when we post the interview on the website. You all should be seeing it right now. There'll be a button at the bottom where it'll link you right to Celina's website as well. So thank you so much, Celina. You're super amazing. Your story inspires me. I know inspired everyone who's listening. And be sure to support Celina and follow her on Instagram and all the platforms she mentioned. Thank you all for your continued support of Latina entrepreneurs and elevating the story and the voice of so many. Please stay connected with us. Continue to follow us at Bella Entrepreneurs. And remember to shop local, shop Latina Biz. So thank you, familia. We'll see you all later at the next interview. See you later.